Happy Saturday. Welcome back to the Watchdogs. Another noon, another Saturday. How you gentlemen doing?
All is well. I see you
Doing
dressed
blessed,
like
man.
Sounds good to me. So we got a new
Lorraine
guest
didn't
on
get
here.
the dress code today. He didn't
Yeah,
get the dress
listen, I didn't. Listen, it's a little different. I'm up in the DC area, so it's a little colder than
Okay.
it, than it is down south. So,
code. Okay. Yeah, Robert just we happened to have on orange
Right.
and suit
y'all
that
like
day.
y'all
Yeah,
coordinating. See,
yeah. It was never planned that way. Believe that. So,
Well, we
gonna
got a
say
new
good
guest
evening
here
to
doing
everybody. Good
Yeah,
afternoon, rather, and welcome to the Watchdogs. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what
that's
we do
it.
here. We dig deep into things that need digging into, and that's what we do here on this platform, and that's what we do here on this particular show. So we're going to welcome our guests all the way from up north in the DC area, Lorraine Benton, who's a Port Wentworth native, Savannah area native, and on we are happy to have him because he has a wealth of knowledge. And when we're through with this show today, you'll see everything that he's doing almost. He's doing a whole lot, and he's responsible for a lot of the headaches that are about to happen around here. So y'all just
Good
pay
headache. Good
attention.
trouble.
Yeah, good trouble.
good
He's
trouble.
good trouble. He's fighting for the people, and we're so very proud to have this young man on and to be doing the things that he's doing in the community. So to start it off, I don't know whether you want to give a introduction or you want to say something, but you got a minute or two to tell everybody who you are and where you're from and everything if you want, Lorraine.
All right. Well, my name is Lorraine Benton. I actually am from born and raised in Savannah, Georgia. Grew up in Port Wentworth when it was still unincorporated in Chatham County. All right, but either way, I'm a native son. Obviously, went to Savannah High. Full football scholarship up at Wofford College. Majored in physics. Went to North Carolina A&T. Got my master's in nuclear physics. I am a nuclear physicist, and PhD from Howard University. So, I got a large background and worked with the federal government. So I know as a federal government inspector. So I know federal government policies, procedures, and what should be. But most importantly, I actually am a real estate developer as well. So I haven't been doing anything down south, but that's going to change soon.
Very soon.
So that's going to change soon. But no. So that's just, and I actually am a certified CDE, which is a community development entity through the Department of Treasury New Market Tax Credit programs. So using new market tax credit for real estate development projects, but in particular in urban and rural communities. And I've been focusing my development efforts around our HBCUs. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, so that's my background.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, we're going to jump right into it, and then so we can get to everything today. Y'all stay tuned because we have a whole lot of information that we want to dispense this morning. Getting right into it, we see what has been happening in the city of Port Wentworth, and that is dear to you and dear to me, and it should
Mhm.
be dear to everybody here in Chatham County, because the first time since 1957, the council is ruled by Democrats, and it is ruled by progressive Democrats who want to move the city forward because we see that the city is stagnant, and that is one of the reasons that I ran for mayor, although I was disqualified. All the other people that ran on the same ticket won,
Mhm.
and the whole government was changed. And so now, with the government being changed, they don't want the new government to the new council to govern. And by them not wanting that to happen, they're going through all type of measures. They had a planned, orchestrated walkout and resignations with 6 people. Who leaves a job with, in the pandemic time, 6 people? Well, 5 really. One lady quit before the election because she had a better
Wow.
job. They still
Mhm.
count her, so it's only 5. So with 5 people walking out in concert on the same day,
Did they give a
that these
cause
people are
or
working at the same job somewhere.
Right.
This is all orchestrated.
Right. And on that, here's the thing. You're going to leave a government job with state benefits.
Exactly.
Right. Like and
Mm.
you resigned, right? You resigned. So when you resign, you ain't getting no unemployment because you left.
Correct.
Right.
Wow, that's
Like
true.
right. So when you look at it, when you look at it, and these ain't no, you wasn't no young people that just kind of getting into the employment round. You know what I mean? Like, they had a little age on them, so you know how this thing works. Let's be real. You know how it worked, right? So it's not like it was a coincidence, right? It was, like you said, it was planned,
Without a doubt.
and nobody in their right mind gonna quit a job, right? When you got a family dependent on you, if you ain't already got something lined up.
And wouldn't in your resignation letter you state why you're resigning? Because you were pressured, that you were that the environment was a hostile environment. All this you would put in your resignation letter. None of them but one put that in their letter because and that was the city clerk, Shanta Scarborough,
Mhm.
that she put that in there. And the city manager, he threw it in there, but the city manager's just, I don't know what to even call this guy, because he's crying about there's not enough people to work, but he's had 2 years to hire these people and never hired anybody. So he's complicit in the failure of this government in Port Wentworth, and he acting like he don't know what the hell going on, and he's dead
Mhm.
wrong. So we need to find out what are the options for these people, for the new council up here, and we need to try to figure out what is going on. I know it's a lot of questions that needs to be asked and answered, and we're going to try to get to the bottom of some of them now. Did you see the new? It was the city attorney, the interim city attorney, has stated that according to the charter, that the mayor has the authority to cancel a city council meeting. And if you do that, then it has to be on good, for a very, very, very good reason.
Mhm.
But the charter is kind of vague, so it seems like he could cancel the meeting for anything he wants.
Pretty
I
Well,
much.
don't have it in front of me. I had it, but it seems like he could cancel for anything he wants. So they're within the law. He can't.
hold on. So actually, he's not, right?
Yeah.
What what most people, what most city administrators and municipalities fail to realize is this: every city, municipality, county, right? You are established under the laws of the state of Georgia. So all state of Georgia laws you have to follow. That's
Mhm.
the leading law,
True.
right? And
Right.
so even though we have the city of Port Wentworth has a city charter, the city charter is supposed to be modeled after, right? The
Mhm.
state of Georgia laws, and in particular the state, the Constitution, right? And the
Right.
Constitution, in particular, paragraph 1, I think it's like section 2 of the Georgia Constitution, right? When it talks about the protection of citizens, right, and protecting the rights of the citizens, right? You got to realize all of the elected officials have a fiduciary duty to every citizen, right? And it's Georgia law and it's Georgia case law that supports that when you violate your fiduciary duties, such as not protecting or not doing what's in the best interest of the citizens as a whole, right? That's when you are in violation. And so Mayor Norton and the rest of the council, like they can't just look at only the city charter to try to govern our city, because that's just one part of it. You got to have the city charter. You got to have more. You got to have first and foremost. You got to have the Constitution of the state of Georgia, right? Along with the other governing laws as it relates to operating municipalities. But then but that's the issue, right? So I know that the new council members that were just voted in, the state of Georgia, issue a training every year. And they went to it in Atlanta, right? But guess who wasn't at that training where the state is giving training to the government officials about this is how you are supposed to effectively operate your city? Mayor Norton wasn't there.
No, he doesn't go to any.
Right? Pig Jones, he wasn't there. Glenn Jones, he wasn't there. Right? And so you're not even trying to educate yourself
on
how
they're running off of 1950 ways of governing, and they're running off the 1957 ways of governing, and they haven't wanted to come into the 21st century at all, or the 22nd century at all. This is what's the problem here in this city. Now, I was saying that according to the charter, they're within their rights to cancel it. But that's the charter. It's vague.
But hold on.
But they can't. But the city council, all they need is 4 members to call an emergency meeting. And what is an emergency that they made by having these people walk out is orchestrated. They are within their rights to call an emergency meeting that the mayor cannot cancel. So I don't know what the city attorney is reading, but if anybody's watching this that knows the city attorney, they need to let him know that we're questioning his interpretation of the charter.
Right. Look at what Chip said. Has he been disbarred before? Because that's interesting.
Well, that's beside the point. He's a city attorney now. He must be has his rights back now. What we're talking about,
Well, just making the case that he's engineering stuff that shouldn't be, happening.
No, well, I think that he's trying to play straight down the line, but he's tilting over, and the wind is blowing him over to the wrong views. The views that he needs to read the entire charter, and the entire charter will let him know that the city council has a right. You do not work. The city council does not work for the city attorney. The city attorney works for the council, and I don't know where the misinterpretations of this gets all cloudy and what's the problem, but you have to know your role. Your role is that you give opinions on the law. You don't give orders to the council. And it seems like this city attorney is trying to give orders to the council, just like the last city attorney. And that's not what they're there for. So
here's the other thing that the city attorney and the mayor and anyone is missing, right? Mm-hmm. So every single person that's voted into office, right? You have to every voted position, you have to take your oath of office, right? Which is, and then because I'm looking at it, it's in section 2.12, all right, of the city charter, right? And so when you read that, right, and I will read it. It says, "I do solemnly swear to affirm I will faithfully perform the duties of the state, all right, or your office. In this case, it is the city of Port Wentworth, that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as, right, the Constitution and the laws of the state of Georgia and the United States of America." Right. And so what that says is to me, what that says is this, right? Again, yes, the charter does help, is the voted charter that helps govern the city, right? But all of us are citizens of the United States. So one, we're protected by the U.S. Constitution first, right? Secondly, we're citizens of the state of Georgia, so we're protected by the state constitution and the laws of the state of Georgia first. That's why it's in the oath, right? Thirdly, right, and least, then it becomes the charter, right? So in his legal profession, he knows the hierarchy of law, right? Constitution first, Georgia Constitution and state law second, right? And then anything else under the laws of the city of Port Wentworth is last and least.
Right.
Right. And so in implementing that, like, that's where they're going wrong. That, and honestly, you take this before any judge in any court of law, right? That's where that's where they're going to hang you up on, because you're violating clearly the written law.
That is absolutely correct. That you are absolutely correct with that, because they used the Georgia Constitution to disqualify me from running for mayor.
Mm-hmm.
They used the Georgia Constitution. So you are absolutely correct, because what if they're successful in the things that they're trying to do, and we haven't gotten to everything that they've done yet, then they would effectively nullify the voters' votes, all the votes that were cast in the last election.
Mm-hmm.
They were cast for change, and they don't want change. They don't want anything to do with change here. And so that's where our problem comes in.
Yeah, I agree, right? But then here again, right? Going back to the city charter, right? If you look at section 2.28 of the city charter, it clearly lays out the powers and the duties of the office of mayor. Clearly. Right? And again, it says preside over the meetings, right? It says see that the laws and ordinances and rules and regulations and the resolutions of the cities are executed, right? It says see that all the funds, right? So you get into funding, inform the city council, right? It says to be the chief advocate, to vote, right? To be a member, within the committees, right? Where in this, and it says the head of the city, all right, to actually in terms of the legal process, be authorized to call special and emergency meetings, be authorized to call, right? Wherein is the duties that's listed under mayor does it say that he has the right to cancel?
And that brings a great point. Like Jamar Torre, you put that back up. Jamar Torre, Professor Jamar Torre just said, power doesn't concede without a demand.
Right.
And the problem is, and one of the things I've been telling people, perception is all that matters here for them. Perception unchallenged becomes reality.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stand up at some point and say that this is not going to happen on my watch.
Mm-hmm.
The Councilman Mark Stevens says, and he's a councilman here in Port Wentworth. Put it back up, Robert. He said the mayor does not have the authority to cancel a regularly scheduled meeting. Norton is trying to exceed his authority. He does not have the authority, but the city attorney is not letting him know, idiot, that you don't have this authority.
But you know what? It ain't incumbent upon the city attorney to tell him.
It was the council can.
No. Listen. He took an oath and the oath clearly says, and the duties clearly say, he took an oath to administer the laws of the U.S. government, the state of Georgia, and the city of Port Wentworth in that order. Yeah. Along with that is the charter. He got a copy of the charter. He actually helped update the charter.
Correct, he did.
So you mean to tell me, if you on somebody's job, like if you working for let's say Savannah Sugar, right? You at the sugar refinery, right? And when you got hired on the city on the sugar refinery, right? They gave you, they gave you an employee handbook, right? So you mean to tell me when they gave you that employee handbook, right? Your boss at the sugar refinery sat down and went by line, page by page, and explained to you exactly what was in the employee handbook? Or did they give you the employee handbook? You signed off on it. In this case, he took an oath of office, signing off on, I understand my duties. I understand what I have a fiduciary duty and responsibility, right, to uphold, right? Mm-hmm. And so since like no one understands my duties, right? Hey, it's written right there in the city charter that you help update. It's not incumbent upon him as the city attorney. That's the issue we had with that's the issue I had with the caution, because no. You have to apply the law.
Correct.
And even as a city attorney, he ain't there to actually direct nobody. Because he works under the direction of the council, not the mayor. Correct. The council.
Correct.
Because again, when you go back and you read the city charter, go back and read the duties, like read the duties, right, of the city attorney. Read them. Who is his boss?
The
council. It's not the mayor.
Yeah, the council.
So so listen, it's a clear violation. So in that case, it's a clear violation of Georgia law. Because if you read, right, and under every section of the city charter, they reference Georgia law under, because you at the end of each section you see credits and it quotes either the Georgia Constitution or a certain Georgia code. So, hey, listen, at this point, he has violated his fiduciary duty to all of the residents of the city of Port Wentworth. And you know what I mean, if you want to get specific, Mayor Norton in his actions, the city attorney in his actions, if he don't clean it up, he teetering, right? Obviously, Ed Booth in his recent actions, right? And then you also now Chief Libby in his 3-4 days as the city manager, right? When you took that role, you was held under the exact same role and responsibility that's listed on the city charter as a city manager.
Right. And that's the problem with this city. I noticed it early on when I was running, and part of my platform was that I wanted to upgrade the staff. They were understaffed terribly. They only have a secretary in City Hall. And I told the city manager, I had a meeting with him, and I told him what I wanted to do. He said, I loved it because these people are country as hell and don't want him to build the city. So I'm telling you, Ed Booth, you and I had this conversation, and you told me this out your mouth, that that the mayor was a dumbass and didn't know nothing. You told me that out your mouth in your office. And you told me that you couldn't wait till I get in there so we could build this city. Ed Booth told me that, the city manager. And he's the city manager until March 9th. So Ed Booth saying this, and then he gets in the city council meeting, and the mayor and Councilman Barbie asks him about hiring new employees to build this city. And the mayor turns around and say, Ed, you need more employees? Of course you do. He looked like he was a deer caught in the headlights. I don't know what Councilman Barbie talking about, but Councilman Barbie pressuring you, he says. So if you don't know what Councilman Barbie talking about, what the hell you talking about? He's pressuring you for. It doesn't add up, So it's big problems here in this city where we have to get some understanding that this city is not 3,000 people anymore. It's almost 15,000, and we have to upgrade. And that's what I was coming in to do. I was hiring a assistant city manager. I was going to make sure that the city attorney always had somebody there with him to to be his second chair. I was going to make sure that the city clerk have somebody. All these people walked out and there's nobody to replace them. There's a problem with me. That's a real problem because somebody was dumb as hell and didn't do what they were supposed to do.
No, not only that. So, and I'm saying is, because I know some of the council is on. So clearly, when they walked out, right, in particular Shanta, right. So you walked out, didn't nobody have the logins for stuff, the keys and stuff. So to avoid it going further, and in engineering and in the federal government, we call this redundancy and diversity, right? So for every position, especially every login, more than one person needs to have, right, logins for everything. More than one person.
Well, override some kind of
right. There needs to be because Mark can help set up anything electronically. You can actually set up an override system to whereas there's a master account, right? All right, that to whereas it has override authority to access any and everything that's on the city server. That needs to happen, right? But you need to have diversity from the standpoint to whereas, okay, you need to have fail-safe measures already in place, right? To whereas in this case, right? All right, to your point, all right, now that the clerk of council or the city clerk didn't work out, okay, now the assistant city clerk would have already been in place, right? Exactly. Or let's say if she was sick one day, couldn't come in or whatever, that's fine, we got it. The assistant city clerk is already in place.
Even the assistant city manager, you should have already had that. You know that this man was going out. The city of Savannah City, even though the city is 10 times larger, the city of Savannah's city manager don't go out to inspect a trash can turned over or why trash wasn't picked up. This man did not have the heart to tell this council. The last council, you can't blame anything on this council. They've been in less than 40 days.
Well, hold on. Let's get to that point. Right. So Ed Booth in his in his press conference that was unannounced. right. First of all, that press conference that was unannounced is actually called Waste, Fraud, and Abuse of Federal Funds and City Funds. Because the residents are the one that pays for everything that's going on in City Hall. Our taxpayers' money pay for that.
And he on vacation at City Hall using all the facility.
So hold on. But to that point, he want to say the reason he's resigning, right? Because of hostile work environment, right? Hostile work environment. Now, I don't know whether they got this plot from Corsair or whoever's advising them legally, but as a scientist, like one thing I'm always for is facts, right? And I do my due diligence, right? And so one thing I do know is this: the only way you get to claim hostile work environment, that's an EEOC claim, right? Under EEOC law, the only time you can claim a hostile work environment is if you worked under the continuous authority of that management for a period of 90 days or more. Federal law.
Documented, and it has to be documented that when it started.
But either way, you cannot claim a hostile work environment unless you've worked under that same man for a period of 90 days or more. That's federal law. That's why with the federal government, they can't even give you an actual appraisal, right? Unless you worked at least 90 days. So how you gonna claim hostile work environment when, matter of fact, at the time, if you look at the time frame, at the time that he made that claim and all the other 5 and the total that 6 that actually resigned, the council ain't been in place less than 30 days.
Yeah.
30. Hold on. The council been in place less than 30 days. They only had one council meeting, and that was the council meeting when they were all formally, right, read their rights and voted into office. So how you gonna claim hostile work environment?
Can't. And then
You're
you
right
walked
there.
off the job without even putting that in your your resignation letter. What you say, Robert?
I say you're right there.
Oh,
Made a good point.
yeah, you know,
So
it's
I mean,
crazy.
like, so listen. I think so. Whatever claim they think they had, right, against the city of Port Wentworth, let them file it. Go ahead. I promise you, they ain't gonna pass muster nowhere, right? Because they ain't got no documentation.
Mm-mm.
They ain't got nothing. You can't claim it on the environment as a whole. Because again, council was just there. There is no way any law, any judge that within the state of Georgia, but in particular, let's just say Chatham County. You go before any judge in Chatham County. They ain't gonna sit here and take that argument that one, you claim a hostile work environment, you worked in a situation less than 30 days, you ain't got no documentation. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's suspect right now.
But again, they trying to paint this perception, right? And I got an issue a little bit with the media and their reporting because it's like, yo, do your due diligence first, right? It's okay to report that, okay, yeah, they walked out, they claiming hostile work environment, but then fact check it, right? And say, okay, hostile work environment under Georgia law, under federal law, this is what's required, right? Because before you go to any claim and you know before any judge, it's called a standard of review, right? So every claim, I don't care whether it's fraud, right? Hostile work environment, every claim in the legal arena has a standard of review of pretty much thresholds that the complainant has to meet in order to even be successful on a claim for hostile work environment.
Okay. Well, I don't know whether anybody. There's a letter from the city attorney going out to the council, telling them that the mayor has the authority to cancel it, but he's trying to find a way for the mayor to cancel it, but he's not trying to tell the council in all what their legal rights are. It seems like he's telling them only what the mayor's legal rights are. Tell this council what their legal rights are. Their legal rights are, according to the charter, that they have the authority to call an emergency meeting. They made a skeptical out of this. They made it an emergency. So therefore, you can call an emergency meeting because they made the emergency.
Mm-hmm.
Now the mayor, they called asking these people, why don't y'all call an emergency meeting? Ask the mayor why he hasn't called an emergency meeting. He's the mayor. He's the head of the city, figurehead of the city. Why hasn't he called the emergency meeting? When I talked to the press the other day, I asked him, I said, why are y'all asking these people that? Ask the damn mayor why he hasn't called an emergency meeting. That's the person that needs to be asked the question. He's protesting in front of City Hall on the day that he orchestrated this walkout. He's protesting against his own administration. What the hell they do that at? And say he was proud of these people for walking out. When all he had to do was say, hey, don't go. Things going to get better. We're going to make sure everything all right. A real leader would have done that. A real leader. This man is no leader. He looks like oldest off of Andy Griffin. Y'all look him up. I wish I had this picture up here. I could show you. You don't want this man leading you in. I mean, he couldn't lead me out of burning the house if I was blind. Hell, he talking about you gonna lead me somewhere. This man ain't got two. Anyway, I digress. You know, we got a problem here in city, in the city, and perception unchallenged becomes reality. And the people are wondering, well, didn't we elect these people to do something? Well, they need to do something. I heard that there's a press conference on Monday. We'll see what comes out of that press conference. I don't know whether they're going to have. Well, they should have a city council meeting sometime this week. It's supposed to be on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. And they got notice that it was supposed to have been canceled. On the website, it still says that it is taking place, but they haven't updated that because they'll say that they don't have anybody to update it. What's wrong with calling in a court reporter to be the city clerk? What's wrong with whoever is acting city manager right now to issue the press release and notifying the press, publishing it in the press? What is wrong with that? What is wrong with asking one of the other municipality city council clerks to come in and sit in for this particular meeting and paying that person? What are the options that this city attorney is given to this city council?
Okay,
The mayor doesn't want it, so is he working just for the mayor? We need to know this and answer. Somebody needs to answer this. This city attorney is my great friend. He's my good friend, but it represented me at my trial against the city, in my hearing against the city.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to know what is the damn problem in Port Wentworth. Friendship aside, we're going to find out what the problem is in this city.
Well, okay. Go ahead, Doc.
I was just wondering, at what point, and I know he won't, but does the governor step in? I know he won't, given, the alliances there, but this thing is just unraveling, has no, it's almost like a dead end. They keep spiraling out of control. So,
well, you see what they did last, right, Lorraine? Yesterday they called the meeting. The mayor didn't call anybody from the council. There's 5 people over him. That's not that run 6 more that runs it with him. But him and Pig Jones, according to what I read. I don't know whether Pig was there or not. I didn't see any pictures of Pig being in there because I saw the pictures. But for my understanding, the mayor had the state rep and the state senator for this area to come in this office to try to get them to dissolve the charter so that the charter can go back to being the old charter. What the hell they do that at? This isn't true. See, this is how back ass and backwoods these people are.
What they want to do.
See, again. First of all, that shows you how dumb Norton is, right? Because first of all, you don't even know the law, right? So first of all you gotta do is this: you the one wanted to help update, and you updated the current city charter to what it is now, right? So, and going through that path, right, to update the city charter. First of all, under Georgia law, you can't just change the city charter. You can't even change your city law, right, without one disclosing it fully to the public, right? That's look it up. It's called the Georgia Open Meetings Act. Mm. You can't do anything, right, without full disclosure to the public, right? So one, he failed in his fiduciary duty to not only inform the rest of the council members that he was even having this meeting, he failed in his fiduciary duties to properly inform all of the residents of the city of Port Wentworth, right? Because so in that case, he violated the Georgia Open Meetings Act. Look it up, right? Mm. He violated the Georgia Open Meetings Act says that every single meeting that is conducted by any public entity within the state of Georgia is open to the public, and you have to notify the public properly of every meeting. He violated Georgia law, right? So, secondly, going back to because this ties back to what the city council can actually do, right? So, I'm gonna take it to another section in the city charter. Go to section 2.36 of the city charter, right? Section 2.36 of the city charter, and I'll read it for the people. Inquiries and investigations. The city council may make inquiries and investigations into the affairs of the city and conduct any department, office, employee, agency, chamber, board, or member thereof, and for this purpose may use the city's police department, right, to assist with any investigation and may subpoena witnesses and documents. The city council shall obtain the advice and counsel of the city attorney as to the method, manner, and procedure, right? But either way, the city council already has the authority to launch an independent investigation into not only what Mayor Norton is doing, but also in what the city's damn attorney is doing. So they already have the written authority under the city charter. It's just that again, they have to understand, like, yo, and understanding the city charter. So you can't just depend on the city attorney to interpret the document that you voted, that we voted you in, and you took an oath to actually implement and execute. So they need to educate themselves and become very astute about what their legal laws and responsibilities are. It's clear in the first sentence of section 2.36 of the current updated city charter what the authorities, what the one of the avenues in which this council has the ability and the authority to do. And it clearly says they have the legal authority to use every avenue, every employee that works under the city of within the city at their disposal, to include Chief Libby.
And I think that what needs to happen is that they just need to meet. They need to do what they need to do. They need to tell the city attorney what to do. The city attorney has no right, and that's my friend, no damn right to tell this council what to do. None, period. I don't know whether he understands that, but you do now. You don't have a right to tell this council what to do. They ask you to interpret the law and the law only. Mm-hmm. They'll tell you what to do. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. Good Lord, I don't even understand these people. Get the damn backbone, people, black people, especially in this county.
And here's the thing. So the city attorney, the city manager, the city clerk, all of them works under the council, not right. The mayor. Honestly, the mayor is really just a face piece for the city as the mayor.
A tiebreaker.
You're the tie-breaking vote on the council.
Only if it's a 3-3 vote, 3-3 tie.
That's
and it. Then he acts like it's 1957. See, back then the mayor was the mayor. He could do what he wants to do. And they have never changed their mindset from that. They have never read the charter that they had updated recently. All they did was updated it from, had the city attorney updated. They never read it.
They never understood it. Like, and that's the thing. And you never understood it. And then you failed to go to the training that the state of Georgia is giving to help you understand it. To, hey, ask questions, but like, you know what? I'm the mayor of Port Wentworth. This is something that we have experienced in my past during my term. You know what I mean? Can you give me advice, or can you explain, like, how can I better help address the situation? You can't do that, right? You know what I mean? But again, you want to remain ignorant, right? And think that you know everything, right? And you try to forcefully do things. And when I say, listen, every single action that Mayor Norton, Ed Booth, and Chief Libby has done within these last 2 weeks violated their oath of offices for all three of them, according to their job descriptions as listed in the actual city charter. They violated.
Correct.
Right. And so with that, right, in that violation, again, the rest of the city council, both individually, right, and separately, they actually have the authority and ability to not only call an investigation, but file an ethics complaint, right? And get the board of ethics involved to actually have the board of the board of ethics investigate this, right? Just like when Linda Smith and Griner with him when they had Barbie investigated, right? You know what I mean? When they had Stevens investigated, ain't nothing came up. They have the exact same authority, so use it.
Correct.
Yeah.
We just hired a municipal court judge. The judge is in place now. Use it.
Yeah, that's correct. You're absolutely correct. They're violating a whole lot of the rules, and nobody's saying anything. I mean, you sit back and let them implode. You sit back and let them explore every option that they have to stop you. But at some point, you have to get up and say, this enough is enough. Let's get this on. Let's operate this government, because we can't move the city forward unless you do. This man has effectively shut down the city government, and he does not have the power to do so. And you're letting him do it. So I would implore this city council to get off your ass and do something, because you're not doing anything right now.
Listen, Mayor Pro Tem, I want to say this real quick. What Mayor Pro Tem Barbie, right? Because again, the duties of Mayor Pro Tem is also listed in the city charter, right? Mayor Pro Tem Barbie has the authority to, one, as they collectively call for an investigation, right, under section 2.36 of the city charter, right? Mayor Pro Tem Barbie actually has the authority to, since, as the mayor is under investigation, right, assume his full duties and author, all right, and authority as Mayor Pro Tem over the city. So he has that legal authority. Whether he understands that or not, I hope he's listening. You do have that legal authority, because under your job description, as listed within the city charter, right, he's second in command. And it's clear that the actions of the mayor has negatively impacted the operations of the city, but most importantly, the mayor has actually violated his fiduciary duty to all almost 15,000 residents of the city, to include them as council members. Right? So they have cause. They have cause to put them under investigation. They have cause to actually put him on ice in order to move forward. They already have the legal authority to, like you say, in an emergency situation, they only need 4 votes to vote. This is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to move forward with, because those four votes will be considered a quorum, right? In order to move forward in the best interest of the city. One person is not a quorum, right? Chief Libby, Ed Booth, they're not even considered within the quorum vote because they're not on the council. They're not the chief of police, the city clerk, and neither is the city manager. You're not leadership of the city. You're not. You're a city employee, period. You're a city employee, and you're an at-will city employee at that. Which means, that if those that don't mean what at-will means, an at-will employment position means that you can be fired at will with cause without even us giving you a reason why we're letting you go. That's what at-will employee and at-will employee means.
That's right. Losing the confidence. As long as the council loses confidence in you, they can fire you.
Right. That's so it. So they have the legal authority. They just got to use it.
Yeah. So I know that Councilman Stevens is a advocate for wanting to move this city forward, and he is wanting and Councilman Barbie and Councilman Bright, and I haven't talked to the other two ladies on the council to see what they want to do, but they need to act in unity and move this city forward. This is what I was running on to try to stop this type of idiocy from happening that the mayor is now involved in, engaged in. And I'm not afraid to call a cat a cat, a dog a dog.
Or in his case, a fool.
A fool a fool. And he's tried everything. I heard he went up to the governor's office. The governor turned him down. So they must be came up with this plot because their strings are being pulled by somebody. So they must be came up with this plot to have the charter dissolved. How do they have the charter dissolved? Really? Then they want to accuse a person that does more in this city than anybody, Councilman Barbie, of harassment, just because he asks you a question. If you look at the duties of the council members, they can ask the city manager to do certain things. They can request of him to do certain things, especially to beef up the staff so that the city can operate properly. See, this is what Barbie was trying to get done, and Ed Booth did not get the understanding to do.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have the nerve or the heart to do it. Didn't have, let's just say, he didn't have the balls to do it.
No, he didn't. No, and he sit back want to quote, whatever he done here in this city, he want to sit back under his title under retired colonel. That don't mean a hill of beans.
Not a tap.
Right. Because let's be clear. If you was doing your job, the way, the right way, I would not have sued you in the court of law.
And then you wouldn't have this problem here anyway. Because if you'd have brought in assistant city manager to help you, if you'd have brought in a public information officer, if you'd have brought in an assistant city clerk, all these things, a secretary, a pool secretary for everybody in City Hall, then instead of worrying about building some buildings to further clog up some traffic without any impact fees, then you wouldn't have to worry about all this.
Right.
And this is real leadership that needs to go on in this city, and they just don't have it here. They have it now, but they're trying to stop these people from governing. These people that were elected recently were coming in to do everything I just said.
I agree.
They were coming in to do that. But this administration that went out, it was like being in a boxing match. And
they hamstringed them.
And you got knocked out. You the champ, but you got knocked out. You woke up they put some smelling salt on your nose, woke you up. And you still think you the champ.
Right. And on that, look, let's be clear, because I'm gonna put it out there. Right. Mayor Norton, James Corsi, Edwin Booth, Linda Smith, Glenn Jones, Griner, right? Shanta, right? Including the city of Port Wentworth, right? And the Port Wentworth City Council, right? The outgoing one, not the current one, right? The outgoing one, right? All of them are facing summary judgment in the Superior Court, in both the Superior Court of Chatham County and in the State Court of Chatham County for the actions that they took, right? And so let's be clear. I'm okay with everything that they are doing right now, because everything that they are continually trying to do is strengthening my lawsuit against them. Both individually.
That's why they should be thrown out of office, because of incompetency. They're incompetent. These two guys, Pig Jones, ran this city for a while. Don't know what the hell he was doing either. All he wanted to do, especially with the upskirt, he was part of the upskirt law. Mm-hmm. He's part of what a whole law here in the state of Georgia, not just in Port Wentworth. He's part of the upskirt law, and he was the mayor at that time. Was he the mayor? Mm-hmm. He was the mayor at that time.
Yeah.
Was he on council? He was the mayor. Yeah,
he was. No, he had recently, his term for mayor recently passed, and he was newly on the council at that time. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, these people are incompetent to run anything. They can't even run their households. So what the hell can you want to put them in charge of a damn city for? You know how much traffic goes through this city per day? Do you see the construction under they don't even go out to do the construction sites where they put the shovel in the ground. They don't do nothing. These people don't have an idea
But
of
see, here's the
how
thing.
to run a city.
Here's the thing, right? Ed Booth, like one thing I appreciate. Listen, I was there at the first council meeting when Barbie, when Barbie laid down and said, "Hey, we following the law," I appreciated that because that's the first time that as a native born son of Port Wentworth, right? I felt like we had any city administrator who was willing to just follow the law, follow the written law that not only y'all can follow, but the taxpayers can follow, right? And so with that, and so with that being said, that's where the shift had to come because let's be clear, the city manager don't run the city. He made that statement during this press conference that the city manager runs the city. No, it don't. Not according to the laws of the city of Port Wentworth. Mm-hmm. Right? The city manager, you make recommendations to the council. The council is the leadership of the city.
That's correct.
Right?
They're the executive
in addition, and the mayor is just the representative. He's not even the leadership. He's just the representative of the city. Right? But the city council is the leadership of the city. So no, the city manager makes recommendations.
Yeah.
To the council.
Chief operating officer. He runs things for the council. The council.
But think about it. But again, this one, folks, when people are not experienced, they don't understand corporate law. Right? And under corporate law, if you're the CEO, you can't be the CEO without a board.
That's correct.
Which means that if you're a CEO, that means you are the chief executive officer, but you have a board to answer to. Right? And so Mayor Norton, as the CEO of the city, the board that he has to answer to is the city council.
Council. That's correct.
Because the board runs the day-to-day operations. The council is the one who's responsible for the day-to-day operations of the city in terms of the actual decision-making.
And they turned that over to the city manager, who is this chief operating officer, who answers to the council, not the mayor. Because they're in the office with the mayor, and the mayor is the only one with an office, then they feel like they have to do what the mayor says. See, I was changing all that anyway. I was bringing in and putting 3 new officers in and going to have the 6 council members have offices in City Hall also. I was going to put 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and the 2 at large in an office, 2 each, so that they can have access to City Hall also.
They need to.
You got to be able to think in modern terms. They're thinking because this city, is deep rooted and deep seated in racism.
It clearly. Trust, I know.
But they don't understand that their time is gone. And they still want to hold on to something that they can't hold on to no more. The pole is greasy. You can't hold it no more. You're going to slide down it. Deep-seated racism is in Port Wentworth, but we are the majority now. We're not coming here to tell you now it's our turn to do something to you. No, we're just saying that we won the election. Let us govern. Let us move this city in a progressive way. See, they said that Julius Hall was going to be mayor. They were trying to scare people, and he's going to turn the city black. But you're trying to say black people can't govern? You're saying that black people aren't intelligent enough to do these things? Come on, man. We're trying to turn the city black. We're just trying to move the city forward. Doesn't matter whether the person is black, white, whatever. Since 1957, you've never had a black city attorney. Ever had a black city attorney. Since 1957, you've never had a black city manager.
That's a lot.
So what's the deal? The interim city attorney now is the first black city attorney outside of Atlanta in the state of Georgia history.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The state of Georgia's history.
And he needs to understand the significance of that.
Yeah,
and it ain't got nothing to do with him being black, right? Ain't got nothing to do with them being a person of color, right? The significance of that is this, right? So, to your point, right? Them saying that you was gonna turn the city black and all this. Look at the demographics of Port Wentworth right now.
Exactly.
It is people of color. Let's be clear. Now, whether they come out and vote is one thing, right?
But they did.
Right. Yeah, I know, right. You know what I mean? Now, whether they come out and vote is one thing, right? But let's be clear, right? You know what I mean? And it ain't got nothing to do with whether somebody's white, black, brown, Asian, Hispanic. It doesn't matter, right? The written law is the law. The law is neither black nor white, right? It's black and white, right? Which means that whatever the written law is, that's what you're supposed to follow.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Because again, clearly, like, hey, I know one damn thing. They ain't bringing no damn warehouses down Salsa Road. I guarantee you that. I promise you that. Right? I promise you that. That ain't happening. You know what I mean? And the reason why that's not happening, they didn't count. They didn't see they counted on. They tried to wait on my mom, Miss Georgia Benton, as she got older. Like, you know what? We're gonna wait till she get old, right? She ain't gonna have no more fighting because when she was fought with them before, she was like in her late 50s. She was a little spry, right? Right now, my mom in her 70s. She didn't. They didn't count on her offspring, right? Understanding the law and be like, nah, you can't do this, and this is why, right? And see, that's the thing. Like, as we continue to grow into this new age, we have to understand that, like, yo, when you want to fight something, you can argue and protest all you want. That's cool. I mean, that may bring some that may bring some awareness, right? But in order to bring real change, you got to follow the law, and you got to implement the law, right? And when you implement the law and be like, Your Honor, and first of all, be brave enough to bring it before a court, a judge would be like, Your Honor, this is what the Georgia law says. This is actually what the federal law says. This is what Georgia law said. This is what they violated, and hold their feet to the fire. What are they gonna do? That's but correct. Again, you have to educate yourself on when you say what the options are. You got to educate yourself on what the law is before you can even understand what your options are, either legally or illegally. You got to educate yourself, but you also have to be willing to educate yourself, and sometimes willing to go out there and seek the knowledge. Because trust me, I spent every time I come home, I spend a couple of hours in the several law libraries around the state to educate myself on Georgia law. And it might be just me because I'm an academic, I'm a professor and everything. That's just part of my DNA and my nature. But I also understand is you can't fight without understanding what your fight is.
That's right.
And that's what the council needs to understand. You have to understand what your fight is in order to know how to fight. So,
yeah, that is a great point. And before we move on, when we're moving on, we're going to move on to what's the role of the mainstream media here? What were they reporting fairly? Now, I talked to WTOC, D-Dite, Matt D-Dite, Max D-Dite. I talked to Jessica Savage. I talked to Nancy Guam. All these people have talked to me. And I told them that you all aren't reporting it fairly. And their thing to me was that they are reporting what they see because the other side won't talk to them. So I have implored the other side to, y'all need to talk to these people because they're saying that they're going to keep reporting what Norton tells them. And like I say, perception unchallenged becomes reality if you let it. Then if if you don't do what is necessary to combat that by taking charge because you have the authority to take charge, then they will um, um, they will be
Building.
in control. You don't let nobody else control you when you're the boss. That's weak leadership. So if you're the boss, take control. But you know how we combat that is by people listening to what we give you here. We're going to give you here the information that concerns this community. We're going to try our best to give it to you fairly and let you decide. We know that people are always talking about, well, all they do is complain. No, all we do is advocate. We're advocating for to be treated equally, to not be underserved, and to have a fair chance like everybody else. That's all. That's all we're asking for. Nothing more. We did go to college and get education. We do have those work skills and those requirement skill sets to do certain things. So you know, we can govern also. So just give us a chance. We didn't. You wouldn't give us a chance, so we took a chance, and we voted, and we changed the structure of government here. But you still you trying to throw that in the wastebasket. So where's the NAACP to stand up behind these people? I guess the NAACP ain't gonna come unless you ask them to come, and then they won't come. Then I guess I'm gonna call Chad and ask him what his position on this is, because he's an attorney and he's over the NAACP locally here. But it needs to be something done here. Where's the black leadership? Where's the pastors? You stand up for everything except what is supposed to be stood up for. So you know we need everybody to be involved to help change this. We can't change this world, and we can't change the world where we at, where our feet are, until we get to be on the same page and unify and do those things together. It's not about black. It's about black, white, everybody joining in to say this isn't fair. Let's change this. Let's make sure that this is allowed to happen.
Right.
This new form, this new government gets a chance to rule. If they don't do what they're supposed to do, then kick them out of office. That's the American system of democracy. You know, let's do it. You know. So anyway, I digress. I'm finished with that. Before we get on to what we have you here for, even though you're here for all of it, which
All
is
of it.
awesome. You know, but we got one thing that Robert and I need to go over, and you could chime in if you know anything about it. Chuck, you're right about a recall. We can see whether that is possible also, because this mayor needs to either resign or be recalled immediately, effective Monday morning. The first congressional district. There's a lot going on. I heard it was a big hoorah the other day out at Savannah State while the candidates were out there. Two of the candidates were there watching a play, and one particular candidate went off on the manager of the other candidate. So we want to address this and understand and let people understand that you all are Democratic candidates running for that particular seat against the Republican Buddy Carter. Whoever wins needs the other one's support. So
Right.
it is not very wise for you to fight the other candidate. Run your campaign. Run your campaign. If you win, ask for their help. Ask for their support. If you lose, give it to them. You know, that's
Exactly.
all it's about. You know, they love the infighting where we're fighting against each other because of something. And to make it plain, last time I helped Joyce Griggs, got more votes than anybody ever ran against Buddy Carter. And we were running while Lisa Rain was acting a fool and didn't want Joyce to run. Thought Joyce shouldn't run. It's her turn to run, and Joyce shouldn't have got in. And now Joyce is acting the same way about everybody else who's getting in. You don't own these seats. You do not own these seats. Run your race, be professional about it, and ask for the help if if you win and give the help if you lose. That's all
Right.
it is to it. What you got to say, Robert?
We're on the same team here. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, honestly, it's like you said, somebody's going to win in the primary. And if you can't support the win in the primary, then it might have not been wise to be in the race in the first place. So that's just my 2 cents on that part.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, is there anything else on that particular subject? I want to make sure we got it.
Look, I think you summed that one right on up.
Okay, so we got that, and we're going to get down to the nitty gritty now. Our other uh, co-hosts didn't. We got 2 other co-hosts. They didn't come because we had a question for one of them, but he didn't come, so we'll let him answer that on later on during the week about these candidates statewide coming in to the city and having a meet and greet where everybody is concerned. So we'll talk about that later. So let's get down to my brother, Mr. Lorraine Benton. You have done some things recently. We know, and you talked about it a few minutes ago, where your litigation, and we know sometimes when you litigate, where you have things before the court, that you can't sometimes talk about it. But wherever you can talk, then you please feel free to. Wherever you can't, just say I can't comment on that. But now, this brother is bad, y'all. This brother has served notice on Earlene Davis and the Housing Authority of Savannah
Very
to
good.
not tear down one brick in Yamacraw. So can you tell us about that, my brother? And Kate Home also, I believe. So you can go ahead and tell what's going on and how we can help you also at the end.
Okay, no. Well, I just appreciate you inviting me on just so we can just get a lot more notoriety around what's going on. But to make it very clear, and this goes back to making sure we continually to educate ourselves, not only as a people but just people in general, right? But yes, so everybody knows that the housing authority, the city of Savannah, and I'm saying the city of Savannah because the housing authority was actually created out of a resolution from the city council of the city of Savannah in 1938, right? So even though the city of Savannah can act like they're separate from the housing authority, the city of Savannah is liable for everything that the housing authority does because it's a quasi-governmental agency of the city of Savannah. Let's make that clear, right? So, but everyone knows that they want Yamakraw Village gone, right? They don't want Yamakraw Village. They want Yamakraw Village gone, Fraser Homes, Caton Homes, right? They already got really his village and all of them. But in particular, we talking about downtown Savannah, the historic district, right? Yamakraw Village has always been a historically Black community, always, right? And so, in Earlene Davis' efforts to even think that she can demolish Yamakraw Village without one properly notifying the residents of their legal rights, properly reaching out to the churches. And when I say the churches, you got Yamakraw Village, you got Fraser Homes, and you got Caton Homes, right? You got 3 major churches that historically Black churches that service all of those areas. First Brian Baptist Church in Yamakraw Village. You got Connors Temple and Caton Homes, and that's nearby Caton Homes and Fraser Home community, and also Bolton Street Baptist Church. Mm-hmm. And so the housing authority has plans to eradicate each of those communities as low-income housing facilities, right? And when I say eradicating, all they want to do is demolish them, right? sell them to the developers and get and actually co-develop it with them, right? And so when they sell them to the co-developer, like they're not looking to say, okay, we're gonna do this to development. They want to co-develop it with the actual the end result, right? But in doing so, under federal law, you cannot demolish any public housing facility that's funded by federal government proceeds through either Department of Treasury or HUD without the approval of HUD. And with that, it is certain laws and regulations that you got to follow, and they didn't follow it, right? And so, with that being said, what we did earlier this week, and actually it was filed on Wednesday. They were served on Thursday, right? Is I appealed the decision by Erling Davis and the Housing Authority and the City of Savannah, all right, and the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, right, to move any brick to demolish anything and or displace any resident from Yamacraw Village, Caden Homes, and the Fraser Homes communities. So at this point, they can't do nothing because now what I've done is, you can listen, you can look it up, right? You can look it up. It's a matter of fact, the case number is SPCV 22-0156-AB. All right, it's in the Superior Court right now. Whereas under the Georgia Administrative Appeals Act, under the Georgia Administrative Appeals Act, as residents of the state of Georgia, you can appeal any decision that your lawmaker makes that is adversely effective to you. Any decision. Right? I don't care whether it's a decision as simple as, all right, we're gonna make pizza day on Friday. I don't like pizza day being on Friday. Under the Georgia Administrative Appeals Act, you can legally appeal that decision that was made, right, by any city, county, or state government agency to the Superior Court. Georgia law. And that's what we did, right? Because you're Van Johnson just went on the radio, or just went on TV talking about the housing situation and the homeless situation in Savannah. But then what you think is going to happen if you get rid of Yamacraw Village? That's 315 units, right? Fraser Homes is another 300 units. Caton Homes is another 200 units. All right, so if you just roughly add that up, you're talking about 800 housing units with 800 families, right? And let's say let's say each family is a family of 4, right? So if you think about it, that's 800 times 4 is what?
3,200 people.
3,200 people. So if you take away 800 units of public housing, you are threatening to actually put 3,200 people on the streets. Again, increasing the poverty and the homeless rates in the city of Savannah. And in doing so, you're doing it in which you're not even educating the residents about what their legal options are. They're legally legalized.
And they can't find no housing anywhere else for that price.
They can't. Yeah. And you ain't building no more. So it ain't like you tearing down one area, developing up, improving it, and say, okay, we're going to transfer you from this area to this area at the same rate. You ain't doing that, right? And so yes, it's a federal law that it's a HUD regulation that allow us to make this appeal in addition to the Georgia Administrative Appeals right. And if you go up and you look at it's called the Code of Federal Regulations. See, again, that goes back to understanding the hierarchy of law. Federal law supersedes state law. State law supersedes local municipal law. right? And under the code of federal regulations, a federal regulation, actually, it's a HUD regulation that Erlene Davis and them had to follow. And under chapter 24 CFR section 970.9, it's real simple. HUD clearly said, Erlene Davis, you can't tear down Yamacraw Village unless you offer the residents and the community organizations in their neighborhood first offer to purchase the property first and redevelop it themselves first. That's federal law. Now, once did she reach out to the community? Now, once did they educate any of the residents on their legal options? Because every single resident has the legal option to purchase their own residence within Yamacraw Village. That's federal law. And the issue is this issue isn't just limited to Savannah, Georgia, because this is what housing authorities are doing all across our nation, especially in our African-American communities. They're redeveloping the areas, they're redeveloping the communities, but yet they're just doing, they're just taking the land and doing what they want to do with it because the residents aren't informed. They aren't informed about what their legal options are in order to fight it. I'm just blessed and I'm proud because I'm a proud member of First Brown Baptist Church. I grew up in the Yamacraw community. Both of my parents grew up in Yamacraw. Right? So, I'm just blessed to be in a position to where I know, and I lawfully contacted HUD, and HUD is at the table. Let's be clear. They are keenly aware about what was about what's going on. I'm gonna leave it like that.
Well, the city likes to say that they have nothing to do with it, and just like they're doing with the Weeping Time property, they don't have anything to do with it. That's not their property. It's a federal thing. Then when you talk to the feds say no, that's the city's thing because it's a local housing authority in place there. And like you just explained, and I guess that's just the deflection that they want to do, the distraction, so they can do the things that they want to do. They got you spinning your wheels thinking that you're not going to question what they just told you. But, we have people that read these days. You just can't tell us anything. You can't pee on our aid and tell us it's raining no more. So people are really looking at what these elected officials say, and you're one of those people. And we're so proud to have people like you that are going to dig a little deeper. See, because you don't have strong advocates with law degrees that are doing what you're doing. See, everybody's all about self. This is a selfless move that you're doing here.
It is.
And I'm going to say thank you for the residents of Chatham County, because you're everywhere doing everything all over, trying to make sure that we do have a fight, because we have attorneys here that grew up here that knows the landscape and still won't do nothing. They're cowards.
I know. My thing is always this, right? That's like in us as the Benton family filing our lawsuit against the city of Port Wentworth. Before I can ask for help, I'm gonna help myself first. Right? Win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna help myself first. Right? But I'm not the type, and we're not the type to where when we speak, like everything I've ever said, I've cross-referenced it with law to back it up. Right? And that might just be just me, the physicist in me, the scientist, the engineer. You know what I mean? It might just be the accounting background that my mother gave me. It might be a lot of things, right? And I understand everyone isn't blessed with that, right? But it is still incumbent upon us as people to do what's right by our own people, right? Because I know, honestly, the residents that live in Yamacraw Village, let's say, they ain't got, honestly, they don't need, some of them, most of them, they don't have the time to go really search and educate themselves on what they should do timely in order to secure a roof over your head. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's about securing a roof over these people's heads.
And they don't have the resources to pool together to hire an attorney to do it.
No, and honestly, most attorneys probably ain't gonna take the case because all the attorneys, they in the same bar association. They drink, they having drinks on the same day around the same, they playing on the same golf courses. So again, I ain't gonna give you the opportunity to try to try to underrepresent me.
Yeah, see, they got 2 meetings coming up February 23rd at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. at the Housing Authority of Savannah Neighborhood Resource Center, Building B, in the auditorium. And they hold these meetings hoping that nobody shows up to complain. Then they go back into board meetings and do what they want to do.
Right. No, hold on. Now. Look at this coincidence. Look at this coincidence, right? So, the Housing Authority, you want to hold a meeting at 9 o'clock and at 6 o'clock, right? Most of the people that live in Yamacraw Village at 9 o'clock, they on somebody's job, right? So if they on somebody's job, how they going to attend that meeting?
Yeah.
Right? You holding another one at 6 o'clock, right? If you got somebody that's working to pay the rent to live in Yamacraw Village, right? If they get off work, let's say they work at 8 to 5, right? They get off at 5 o'clock. Ain't no telling what side of the city. They could be working in Carolina somewhere, but either way, they got a job, right? So now you mean to tell me they supposed to get off their job, right? And let's say 5 o'clock to make your 6 p.m. meeting. Come on now, right? And then you want to have it during the week, right? If you're gonna have a 9 o'clock meeting, if you're gonna have a 6 p.m. a meeting, why not do it on a Saturday when everybody can attend?
And why not do it at First Bryan where everybody can attend also, instead of carrying them all the way over on Wheaton Street somewhere where the Housing Authority offices are? Have it right there so
in the
that
community.
these people can attend. You know why? They don't want to listen to these people, period. They want to make it where they can't come. As inconvenient as it can be, the better it is for that board to make a decision. But if you go there protesting, then they're going to say y'all rowdy and out of order, and we're going to do it anyway. So, the only thing they understand is
they understand the legal arena. They understand the lawsuit. That's what they understand. They understand the lawsuit. I promise you that.
That's it.
And let's be clear. The city of Savannah is 100% liable for everything the Housing Authority does, because the Housing Authority was established by a resolution of the City Council of the City of Savannah in 1938. Look it up. So you can try to pass the buck all you want. You can try to say, well, that's not under our purview. Yes, it is. Because the Housing Authority answers to the City Council. It answers to the City of Savannah.
That's who appoints their board. They ain't just appointed 2 or 3 people.
So how you gonna say? So how you gonna say that's not our issue? That's not us. Don't worry about it.
And like you said, the CEO. Who does she answer to?
The board.
The board. And who's the
board?
Council,
the City Council. The City Council. So no, Van answers to the City Council. You know what I mean? The city of Port Wentworth really has the exact same strength, the exact same similar structure as the city of Savannah. Ain't too much different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But again, like, we gotta fight for our people. And honestly, like, any lawyers out there that's willing to come to the table, that's brave enough to come to the table with this fight, come on.
They're not coming, just like none of them showed up for the weeping time. We had to go get somebody from way out in Brunswick, Georgia.
And you need to, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's what you need to do. That's what we doing.
Yeah.
Just like because again, ain't no lawyer in the city of Savannah gonna take our case and we don't want you. We're not looking for you to, right? That's why no. That's why whatever legal representation that we gonna have, you ain't gonna be able to twist their arm to do what's you know what I mean to do what you want them to do. You're not. But hey, that's that. But again, I ain't waiting on that.
So you did it to make sure that they didn't do Caton homes also because you knew that was next.
SCAD specifically, the Savannah College of Arts and Design specifically want Yamacraw Village and in particular Caton Homes. They'll take Caton Homes and Fraser Homes if you give it to them. That's facts. So I'm like this. Listen, I ain't gonna be no fool. Like I can read in between the lines. And so I'm gonna call out. I ain't gonna call out. I'm gonna call out everything that you're doing. So I called it out. If I'm lying, prove me wrong. It's a court of law, right? You bring your facts to the table. I bring my facts to the table. It's the court of law. So you'll have your lawful opportunity to prove whether you followed all federal, state, and local regulations. It's real simple. If you didn't do nothing wrong, you ain't got nothing to worry about. I lose.
That's correct. And with SCAD, all they want to do is buy up property. They have to pay. They don't pay any taxes. They don't even pay taxes in lieu. Payment in lieu taxes.
Payment in lieu. I know.
They don't pay nothing, and it's terrible that you could keep selling property to these people where it has no benefit to the city or the residents.
Or the residents. You matter of fact, every property that the city of Savannah sells to SCAD, you're taking it off the tax rolls of the city.
Correct.
And the residents of the city of Savannah are getting no benefit. So why are you giving it to them?
And the school board can't get nothing because those taxes go to support those kids. You're taking the funds out of the tax base.
Listen, is public law 101. You know what I mean? But again, ain't nobody raising those questions. Like you have to raise the right question to get the right answer.
Right.
And also you gotta be brave enough to ruffle some feathers. Listen, I think most folks know my family by now. We ain't bothered by threats. That ain't gonna shut us up. We gonna do the right thing. We gonna do the right, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, those days are over with the threats, because they don't work anymore. So who cares whether you threaten me? You can't embarrass me. You can't shame me, and I don't give a damn about your threat. I try to tell people that, but they don't understand it. Oh, they think I'm going through something. I ain't going through a damn thing. I'm going to something. So they can do whatever they want to do, but this is the fact.
No, this is that, and trust me, I'm gonna go through you to get to where I'm going. I promise you that.
That's correct.
Hey, I played middle linebacker at college, Wofford College. That's where I graduated from. Played middle linebacker. So, listen.
You ain't gonna run you over.
Listen. I love to fight. Let's go.
Sir.
But right is wrong is wrong, and we didn't do this. Obviously, we're not doing this for selfish reason, right? My family don't currently live in Yamacraw, right? Even though my parents grew up there, we don't currently live there, so we're not at jeopardy at losing our house, right? We're not at jeopardy, right? But at the same time, right, it's about what's right, because we still care about the community, right? We still care about the community. And everything, and like I said, everything I'm saying on this call today is on behalf of myself, right? And just the Savannah Yamacraw Association, Inc., which we've been serving the community of Yamacraw for over 15 years now, right? And also the Andrew Bryant CDC, which we've also been serving that community for almost 20 years now. So it ain't like we just started here. You know what I mean? We've been here. And I just, yes, I made reference to all of the churches that actually live and are established in these communities in terms of First Bryan Baptist Church, Connis Temple, and Bolton Street Baptist Church, because these are the churches that have been serving these communities for over years. First Bryan been in the Yamacraw community for over 234 years, since 1788. But Connis Temple been there since for almost 95 years. They've been there since 1927, right? Bolton Street overseas. So it's not like these nonprofit entities have not been servicing these communities for years. So how does Earlene Davis think that she and whatever board at the housing authority can make decisions in the best interest of the residents of those communities without even going to the churches and even having a conversation with us first?
Yeah, she does what she wants to do, just like a lot of the black leaders here. They just do and run over the black community as they wish. You got two other churches right there in that area also. You got St. Philip's right there next to Popeyes, and you got a church that sits back on the back side of on the north side of Caton Homes, inside Caton Homes.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly. I can't remember the church. Yeah. I know because it ain't too far from the YMCA. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, not that one. There's another one sits right directly behind Wendy's. Big church.
Yeah. Okay. Behind Wendy's. Okay. I know
right behind Wendy's is a big church sit inside of Caton Homes.
Caton Homes. Yep.
Yeah.
And listen. Again, all of those churches have federal government mandated legal rights to develop those. If they want to redevelop those communities, the housing authority legally has to offer the first right of refusal to they call Bethlehem Baptist Church.
Yes, the
first right of refusal to those churches that are servicing those communities before they offer it to scatter any other outside developer. That's federal law that they have to follow, right? But again, they didn't count on us They didn't count on us knowing what federal law was and trying to educate the people. So I'm trying to educate y'all.
Yeah, they didn't expect nobody to read. They didn't expect anybody to investigate. That's our Morning Glory sits behind Wendy's. It used to be Pilgrim Baptist Church, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's all it is. Like, listen, I ain't jumping up and down. We ain't jumping up and down. This ain't a protest. This is a formal legal action. That's what it is. So we'll see where it goes.
Well, we appreciate you coming. We're about 10 minutes over. But it's great that you were here, and we'll bring you back for updates. You can come and be on the show anytime because you're a Savannah resident, so you know what's going on in this in Chatham County. And our issues mostly on this particular show, we touch a lot on what is happening in this community, and we dig a little deeper than what we do on the other shows because we have so many subjects that we just touch on them, but we try to focus on one or two things and cover it here so we can give the people the full attention and the necessary information that they need to make informed decisions. So we appreciate you coming. My co-host had to run and handle something with his parents. So we'll get with you and hopefully in the next couple of weeks to see how this progressed, because I'm sure everybody wants to know. And if I can, I'll see whether I can get somebody to cover those meetings on the 23rd. And hopefully if I'm not busy, I'll go and hopefully cover it. But
Okay.
we appreciate you.
All right. Well, man, look, I appreciate you having me on. Like, yo, if you get any requests to inbox or folks want to talk to me directly, share my info. You know how to get them in contact with me. But hey, like this is real. Like we ain't talking about what we gonna do. This is what we doing.
And anybody want a copy of this lawsuit, you can get it from me, or you can get it from Mr. Benton himself.
Or it's public information. You can get it from the courthouse yourself. It's public information. So you can download. You can get it from the courthouse. It's public information.
And since you're a big policy guy, there's another show that's big on policy, and that's Better Savannah. John McMasters and Chuck Fagan. They both were on here early. I don't know whether they're still on, but they might, if they call me for your information and want to talk to you, then I'll make sure that I give them that also, because they are policy geeks and they just love tearing up digging into policy to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. So if they call you, it's Better Savannah. I'll give them your information if they want. That's cool. Talk. All right, my brother. I appreciate you, and I'll see you at the next council meeting.
Yeah, you'll see me.
All right.
Good. All right, man. Take it.
Like this.